Okay, Nick and Andy, time to preview Chelsea against Liverpool. Huge game coming up in the Premier League this weekend. Of course, Liverpool have already won the Premier League. They're the champs. They'll get a guard of honour out onto the pitch at Stamford Bridge and in all their remaining games this season. What do we expect from this, Nick? Because this is kind of a weird one where one team, Chelsea, really needs to win and is really focused. But Liverpool, their job is done. They've been partying this week. Of course, they want to finish the season well. But it's hard to know kind of what the mindset's going to be for them and Arne Slot. For the rest of the season. They want to be professional, of course, and there's other records to break, but kind of a good time for Chelsea to face them. Is that fair to say?
It's a great time for Chelsea to face them. Yes, I think that is fair to say. I just don't know. We have seen it with almost every team, including Manchester City. Unless you're chasing a record, and there are some things that Liverpool can still do this year. Joe, you mentioned before the show that Liverpool can still have the largest margin of victory in a title field. But Liverpool have been through everything this year. Okay. They changed a legendary manager. They had 3 legendary players constantly dealing with their futures. They worked through a number of things in attack. They still have the best, at least veteran player in the world in Salah chasing records, and it hasn't fazed them. So there's muscle memory here. And so I'm not going to tell you that they're going to be on the beach or whatever, but Chelsea need this. And right now, Chelsea's quarterback, the guy who makes it all work, still doesn't look right. So there's a lot of variables here.
It really is, right, Andy? And obviously Nick is referring to Cole Palmer there, who's been really out of form. He hasn't scored for a long, long time now in the Premier League. But their aim is clear. Just win, cement their spot in the top 5, just kind of keep on pushing for that Champions League qualification. But, I mean, we kind of forget that up until Boxing Day, right, they were second in the Premier League table. I mean, when they faced Liverpool at Anfield earlier in the season, they pushed them all the way, and everyone was saying, oh, these are the 2 title favourites here, unexpected, but they could go to it. Liverpool have just kept winning since then, and Chelsea have really hit a rough patch, but have recovered in recent weeks to be a bit more stodgy, stingier. And I think watching their game against Everton last weekend, Lavia coming back was key after, again, another long spell out from injury for him. Caicedo moving to right back, invert, and they just looked a lot calmer, I think, and have more control over games. And I guess for them, it's all about their bottle, right? Can they hold their nerve late in the season? Because they put themselves in a great position. Some key attacking players like Palmer, Madueke, Jackson have been out injured or off form or haven't scored for a while now. And it kind of seems like now it's building back up to, all right, for the final 4 games of the season, let's show the best version of ourselves and get the job done. But it's not as easy as that, is it?
No, it's not. You're right. Getting Lavia back is, I think he's the quarterback of the team, by the way. Even more important just in both sides of the ball, really. Protecting that defense. He is, for all the running and work that Moises Caicedo does, he doesn't have, it doesn't seem, the awareness and the organizational part of the game that Lavia does. And then even on the ball as well, until Lavia came back, Palmer was really the only one that could make a real progressive pass forward. And so now I think that he's got somebody in there to work with it. It should get a little bit better, but I don't love the kind of the direction that Chelsea have been going in for the second half of the season, I guess. It's just so slow and kind of unimaginative. And if you look at the transfer business that they've done in recent seasons, they've got a ton of great attacking wide talent, and it just seems that they don't really want to use it in the way that, would suit them best. What would Madueke and Neto be best at with Jackson up top? Counter-attacking. That's not what they're looking to do. They're looking to pass the ball around and build up and get into the final third real slow. And it's not working for them. And I think that's a huge part of Palmer's fall off as well, is he thrives in that space in those unpredictable moments. But when teams are given the time to get 6, 7, 8 back behind the ball, it's a little bit easier to defend with numbers like that. And so I almost wonder, certainly it is. It's on Maresca at this point of the season, because we have enough of a sample size to see that this is just not working in the Premier League, at least. And so, they should be so much better than they have been performance-wise in recent weeks. And I know they're grinding out some results and everything, and that matters this time of year, of course. But you need to see progression from the team, and we're not seeing it right now. If anything, we're seeing them regress.
It's true. Nick, just on Liverpool again, I just wondered, Salah's not going to want to not play as he did the last 4 games. He's chasing all these records, so he does not want to be rested. But there might be a few other players, right? And there might be some fringe players who this is an opportunity now for Arne Slot to say, show me what you got, because if not, you might not be here next season. It looks like all the reports are saying Liverpool are going to spend some money this summer and upgrade in certain positions. So who are some of the players who maybe need to show up, or some of the players who might be rested? Again, Alexander-Arnold, for me, his situation is interesting because we know he's out of contract this summer. Highly likely he's going to Real Madrid. So is he going to risk an injury as an out-of-contract player? I don't know, now that Liverpool have won the league. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. There are some interesting storylines for Liverpool on the pitch with individual players, aren't there?
There are. Liverpool probably could have still won the league this year had they not changed managers. I mean, nothing kind of crazy happened there. They were a contender team, etc. We talked about Klopp needing that reset and maybe losing his mind at a few times last year. But I look at them and I think there are players that Jurgen Klopp would have never thought to not prioritize. So guys like Curtis Jones is a big one for me. He's in the England setup, right? I mean, he's a name that gets talked about a lot. I think he does a lot. Harvey Elliott, I'll put in there too. Another English guy. Guys that are talented, but when they are not your dude, are they being evaluated against guys you would like to be your dude? And so those would be the big ones. And then also, I think we talked about this last week. There's a question of whether Diaz, a little bit older than 22 or 23, does he want to, he's been linked with Barcelona, does he want to stay and be a star, or is Gakpo that guy? Because I think Gakpo has this little something that if it were there every week, you would say, holy cow, Premier League best 11. And I don't think I think it's more about opportunity than it is engagement. So I wonder how this roster, I wonder how Slot really looks at this. I mean, do you guys, I'm going to use those 4 players, but who else are you looking at?
Andy, Darwin Nunez, obviously Andy Robertson seems like, for his future, seems like might look at replacing him. Kanate obviously has been excellent, but his contract situation is there in the open as well. Those are the others for me, I think. And obviously, clearly want to probably add another right back this summer as well, to either have competition with Bradley or be the starter. But anybody else?
Yeah, Nunez is the big one. Obviously, it just hasn't quite worked since he's been there. I have some questions about Diogo Jota as well. Just one, the injuries that seem to pop up at the wrong time of the season and then keep him out for a little bit too long. What is his role within the team? I think there's some questions there. So, yeah, it will be an interesting summer for Liverpool coming up. But obviously, they have the foundation of a title-winning team. Obviously, they just won the title, but they have a lot of great pieces that fit together well to build around, and it will be interesting to see what Slot does in transitioning from year 1 to year 2, because I think the best thing that he did in going into year 1 was not try to change too much personnel wise, at least. Obviously it looks a little bit different on the field week to week, and it's not quite as wide open, and it's not quite as, they're not taking as many risks defensively as they did under Klopp, but he brought a little balance to the team and gave them kind of a second way of not even playing, but I think thinking about the game and seeing the game. And that has probably more than anything, I think helped them in tough situations, because it's not just hammering home one way. They have a lot about them, and it's obviously a very good veteran team at this point.
It really is. And yeah, obviously the slot machine is delivered. And now I think it's rather than taking some cogs out of that machine, it's just about maybe changing the chain a bit, just greasing it up, and just giving them that extra layer of creativity if Salah's not on it. Is in that final third. They score a lot of goals, of course, and Szoboszlai and McAllister have been excellent. But it's just that extra little factor to build on what's been a sensational season. And then a natural evolution of, Robertson, Alexander-Arnold, and then even in goal, you're looking at Alisson as well. Maybe it's time to start moving on from him. And they've got Mamashvili coming in, of course. So some big changes, but I think they're in a really good position, aren't they, Liverpool? No matter who comes in or out in the summer. Nick, what's your prediction for this game, mate?
You've swung me a little bit by that prove it point, because I think Jota's a great example. I think of him a little bit like Pedro. Believe me, it's going to my prediction. You're going to understand it. Okay. A little bit like when Pedro was at Barcelona. I think an excellent player, but I think there are 40 of him in the world. And Liverpool need to identify, and these players need to prove that they're irreplaceable, because there isn't a Mane, there isn't a Firmino, right? There is a Salah. There is a McAllister I would put in that category. Soboslai might be there. So Liverpool still have a lot to prove to their manager if they want to stay there, or to prospective suitors if they think they're gone. So I think that might just be enough for them, even away from home, to get a tie. I'm going to go 1-1.
I'm going to go with the same 1-1 as well. I think Chelsea won't be happy with that, because I think they'll be eyeing up this game, being like, this is a good time to play Liverpool, etc. But they're still the champions for a reason, and I think they have a lot of players, again, wanting to prove themselves. Salah wanting to score goals and assists, and if anything, they can play with even more freedom right now, Andy, Liverpool. So that's a bit of a scary thought as well. What are you going for, mate?
In all the years, have we all predicted a draw on the same game? I don't think we have. I'm going to go 2-2. Okay. I was there before you guys went 1-1, but yeah, it feels like it'll be not a lack of focus from Liverpool, but they won't be at their sharpest best the way that they have been in recent weeks, and certainly they were against Spurs. So yeah, I'll go 2-2 in this one, and Chelsea, I think, should be slightly happy to take that point, but probably not going to be enough in that Champions League race.
I hope it's a red versus blue game, by the way. This is one of those games I want to see the colors out there.
Yeah, it should be traditional encounter. Two giants at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea against Liverpool. Liverpool be getting that guard of honor. Let's see what that looks like, and let's see if Chelsea can get the big win they need for their Champions League hopes this season. Head over to Pro Soccer Talk on NBCSports.com for all the latest how to watch information, live analysis, reaction, and much more. We'll have you covered. Thanks, Nick and Andy, for joining me. Thanks, everyone, for watching, and we'll speak to you all soon. Cheers, guys.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Lowe, and as we head towards the end of an exciting Premier League season, make sure you like and subscribe on the NBC Sports YouTube channel for more content like this.